Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's special edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And they call it special, y'all. We're supposed to end our season 35, yesterday. Um, but we were guided to put something together in celebration of this week of resurrection and the transitions of a season that we've been navigating where so much has been transcending as we've been going into the shadow and coming back out into the light, into what's possible. And I was speaking to Christabel about this, and we just knew that it'd be beautiful to come together to share not only from our experiences and the wisdom that's coming in, but also to have the gift of having Christabel guide us through a journey. And it'll be a short journey, about 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes. Um, but these journeys are quite profound. From the last calls that we've been on, again, the feedback that we've been getting from the experience has just been off the charts amazing. People just raving about the activations, the visions that they're having, the shifts in their bodies. And again, what a beautiful way to end this very special season on Beyond the Ordinary show. And so, without further ado, Christabel, welcome back to Beyond the Ordinary.
Thanks for having me, John. It's always such an honor to be in your beautiful community. And hello, everybody. Thank you, Jill. I love Breath of Bliss too. I'm so happy to be here to share.
I'd love it if you share what's motivating you during this time, this phase of transcendence that we're in right now.
Mm, wow. Well, my heart is motivating me. Noticing where I feel shut down and armored and afraid, and becoming more breathing into that and becoming more aware of that with my breath so I can soften and be more gentle with myself and those I care for, and really open to this Christed consciousness that's coming towards us rapidly in the portal this weekend, opening to the possibility of seeing all of life in a much kinder way so I can be more compassionate. Yeah, that's really what's
Beautiful.
happening for me.
I love that but this seems to be something that's alive in you as part of just the essence of who you are. And I actually want to back up a little bit in your timeline because I'd love it if you can share some of your history and how Breath of Bliss came to be, and then the benefits that you personally received from it. But I want to share a little bit of the backstory as I understand it, because it's tied to me on a very specific root that you really bring into consciousness for everybody that you share, whatever transmission it is that you're sharing. So, your first impetus of success came from a passion that it just drew you in. You saw something, you were mesmerized, and you had to know everything about it. And that turned into just this phenomenon that had you featured in Time Magazine. You're on Regis and Kathy Lee. I mean, you were big on a circuit. And that notion of fame and success, and people saw it as a way to get fit, a way to have fun, a way to connect with bliss in a different way. But you've shared with me that that was really a sacred initiation for you, that it was you touching the divine.
Mm,
And then years later, coming back into these experiences that you're guiding people through now that are so profound. You call them psychoactive, and we'll get into the description of that in a little bit and the benefits and how people are responding in your own journey in that. But also in that state, it's like something ignited in you. And again, it's another way for you to have that intimacy with source. And so I'd love it if you speak a little bit more insight, because ultimately I believe that all of us on here are seeking that intimacy, and how you're able to touch upon it,
mm,
spark it into something to motivate other people to find their version of that within that framework and technology is really powerful.
mm. Wow, thank you for seeing all of me and all the parts. And
Mm.
you're speaking to hoop girl. I used to have this empire of hoop dancing, somatic, athletic movement form. And yeah, for me, when that began, it was an obsession of feeling because I was so numb. I wasn't brought up knowing how to feel my feelings all the way through. I was brought up with a lot of programming that I should control my emotions, I should control my life, I should manage where I'm headed. And so when I was in grad school fulfilling an academic vision that wasn't even really mine, and I hit up on the ecstatic dancing, it was so much about feeling and breathing and sensing and touching into this taste of ecstasy through the body, like being in communion to start discovering the nuances of the fabric of the skin and like the athleticism of music and dance. And so that was a big awakening somatically, to a way for me to touch the heart of God through the body and through music and connection. And that only amplified with Breath of Bliss, because then it was like we didn't need to hide behind a hula hoop anymore, right? And we could just be overt spiritual practitioners, and I can start overtly training spiritual practitioners to facilitate these psychoactive awakenings to go beyond the mind, because I had so much suffering in my, and I don't know if anyone else on here, I see many of you. Hey, Laura and Deb. Yeah. And Shirley. I mean, I had so much suffering in my overthinking of who I was before. And the magic of breath bliss is that it opens the heart. It's such a way that the mind becomes dim. Or
Mm.
if the mind's going, we actually can track the mind and see the cosmic joke and unplug from the storyline, which is such a relief too. So yeah, there's a little bit there about.
I love your journey in that. And my experience with your technology that you're sharing and the format that you're sharing, because you also share Breath of Bliss to meet people in their highest octave. We're not
Mhm.
going down and clearing up and dredging up old things that most of y'all have probably already done so much work on. You really hold what I like to say is a high standard for where people are actualized and seeing that so clearly and holding such a clear, safe, and potent space
Mm.
to be met there. And for me, in my experience through some of your transmissions, it's not just about remembering who I am, but the connection to beings,
Mm.
ascended masters that have come through, to being in such a purity of light that I'm vibrating for hours afterwards. Um, it's it's what happens when the facilitation to slow down the mind, to tap into that which is alive in us and it already exists, and to have enough relationship with it to give it the space to blossom and communicate with us.
So beautiful. I love that you've been having these expansive visions. You've shared some with me too. And that's the magic when we get out of our own way and when we wake
Mm,
up from the surface mind and the intoxication with the thought forms that aren't even ours, that we're picking up from the collective and all the media and all the things that infiltrate our consciousness from our heritage, and all the things that aren't a true reflection of our innocence.
mm.
And that's what I love about this practice, is it helps us reawaken to the purity of our sweet, tender, beautiful hearts, and the just the urge to love, and the immediacy of how it feels to pop into that psychoactive state where we, that the same that we hear when people cross the veil between this life and the next, that realization of love is all that really matters. Like the truth is that. And so there is this beautiful possibility, as you share, to like touch into our guides and teachers and angels and all of the beings.
I want to get into a couple of your personal experiences or maybe a personal experience that you've had with this. But before we do that, I don't know if I've mentioned this, and I want to be more specific about it. Y'all, Christabel's going to guide us through an experience. And so we're going to invite you to lay down, maybe grab a pillow, an eye mask, maybe a favorite crystal. Can you hold up your crystal? This is what I'm holding up. That's so funny. I got a little tiny one over here. It's potent though. It's potent.
Yeah, it is.
So it's but grab something to get comfortable, a blanket. How can people prepare for the experience that you're going to take them through a little bit later on in the program?
Yeah, it's nice to have something comfortable you're going to lie down on and something possibly to put over your eyes so you can go deeper into the dream state. It's nice to have a beverage nearby, maybe your journal, as you mentioned, John, a sacred item if it feels good to put it on your body. And headphones, if you have over the ear headphones or any headphones, that's going to allow you to experience more of the richness of the music. Yeah.
And for anybody who may be new to this type of experience, what are some things that they might experience during the process?
Mm. So, this is an experience of aliveness. So, whatever you may have inside that has been yearning to gain your attention and your love may emerge. So, that's a lot of stuff. So, it might be emotions, fear, love, bliss, orgasmic sensations, anger, jealousy, like whatever emotions have been vying for your attention may surface, which is so lovely. You might have tears if the body is longing to release in that purifying way. You can have laughter. You can have memories of things from this life and other lives. I've had profound life-changing memories arise in this practice, dreams of the future, communion with guides and angels. I mean, really, anything can happen that would happen in a psychedelic state.
What are
So
some physical things that may arise as well?
yeah, so that definitely includes tingling, vibrating, cramping, numbing sometimes occurs in the fingers or in the feet or in the jaw, which is so safe and so natural. I absolutely promise everybody that this will go away by the end. And this is when the blood is being hyper oxygenated, or as some believe, when light is flooding your body, it can activate a great feeling of release and energy. So if you feel any of that, just know it's super safe and it will go away at the end.
Hmm. Yeah, it's y'all. I'm gonna highly recommend that y'all participate and participate all the way through to the end. Sometimes we have a physical or somatic experience and it starts to wane and we think that it's finished and it's not. There could be another wave coming. So really allow Christabel to be your guide. And I promise she will let you know when we're wrapping up. And so surrender to the full process and try not to cut it short, just trying to keep track and and receive the gift of today in which we're going to immerse in. And I love what Laura's showing on here also. She's saying use your inhalers first. If you have asthma, it's an amazing experience. It's orgasmic. Um, so anyone who has difficulty or thinks that they have issues breathing, is there anything that you would recommend for them?
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say we're in a participatory experience here. So, anyone who has questions, if you type it in the chat box, we're going to see it. And then we can
Yes.
actually directly engage with you. I would say listen to your body, right? So, if you're pregnant, you would want to breathe very gently, slower breaths. Pregnant women often have profound visionary experiences. But if you're in that state, you tone it down, keep it nice and soothing. Certainly, if you had any surgeries recently or any kind of medical conditions, you'll want to be easeful. And you can always make it more soothing by breathing through the nose. For the rest of us who may be eager for a bigger experience, the faster and the fuller you breathe, the more sound you make, the more you move your body, the bigger the experience will be. So you're like a Ferrari and you stick shift is right there and you get to control faster breaths or slower breaths or through my nose, right? And if there's ever a moment you feel like you have to come out, think about staying. But if you really need to come out, if you start sitting up, that's going to start bringing your prefrontal cortex online. So you're going to start thinking more, and that's going to take you out of the psychoactive state more quickly. So you have options to design your own adventure.
Amazing. I say dive in, y'all. It's an amazing experience. I've had several amazing experiences. Um, Before we get into the next question, I want to ask you, y'all, that it's Christabel and I are actually guiding a journey, which is a practice that we have been doing together on Easter, this Easter Sunday. It's the special offer. It's super accessible. I've never offered anything at this price before on BTO. It's $33. We'll get into more of a description of that a little bit later, but if any of y'all have to leave early, I want to make sure that you knew that you're invited to participate with us in this very special ascension awakening ceremony. Again, we've been experiencing so much transcendence through these lunar cycles that we've been in family of light with Christabel as well. And again, through the eclipse portals. And it just seems like the collective, at least the collectives that I'm involved in, have been shifting, shedding so much, going through really a resurrection portal and coming into a threshold of light that we have access to. And so we want to illuminate that light in community where we can amplify it for each other. And that's part of our intention that's occurring this Sunday. Again, we'll get a little bit more specific about the special offer later. But again, I want to let you know it was there in case you need to leave early, so that you don't miss the opportunity to dive in with us. Can you share maybe one of your first experiences with this type of practice and where it took you?
Mm. I think, yeah, one of my first experiences was when my very first experience. I didn't even expect this to happen. I showed up to a different event where I was surprised with this practice. And at that time, I was actually in a marriage that was completely misaligned, lots of love, but not a whole lot of value alignment. And I was suppressing the truth of that, and I was denying it and uh, trying to override my sensibilities and inner guidance. And it was so painful to be in that. And so I had this breath experience at that moment in my life. And when I went in, I started feeling so much light, like blinding light, blinding light. And these surges of love, like coming through my heart, not even to my heart, but through my heart. And this feeling of love that was so caring and so tender. It was beyond any love I had ever felt for myself. And I started really feeling what love really is. And weeping uncontrollably, like crying my eyes out and starting to see how much suffering I sort of separated from my personality, and I saw my little Christabel, and I just started loving her so much for what she was going through and this ridiculous situation. And I just I felt like an angelic presence, this Mother Mary type loving presence amplifying. And I just started realizing there's so much more to my life than I've been allowing myself to live and to honestly voice and to take a risk in my life to step into. And after that experience, I radically changed my life. And, I ended up having to consciously complete that marriage and I had been dreaming about mystical islands. I moved to Bali for 12 years. I started
Wow.
creating the whole breath of bliss family globally, and like miracles came in, synchronicities beyond anything I could have imagined. But it was that first experience that showed me like what love felt like in my body, that opened the possibility for that.
Mm. And what was the motivation between that first experience and you deciding, hey, I need to share this with so many more people?
Again, it was an accidental synchronicity. Someone flew me to Bali to teach at their retreat, and they lost a facilitator. They said, "Hey, you do this breath thing. Why don't you do it?" And then the whole retreat blew up with like bonding and tears and connection and heartwarming intimacy, and they wouldn't let me leave Bali. So I abandoned my apartment and all my stuff in San Francisco. I gave it all away to my housemates and I stayed, and it was a miracle. So
It's just again synchronicity. When you're on path, it just illuminates along the way.
people started showing up every week, 100 people wanting to breathe, and they wanted teacher trainings, then they wanted retreats, and it just took over my life. So
Amazing. Thank goodness for us. So thank you for doing that. Um, I'd love it if you share also, and y'all start preparing for the experience soon. Again, find a comfortable place, get a pillow, somewhere where you can lay down. We're gonna dive in a little bit. Um, what's your relationship with the consciousness that is running through you as you're in those nuances of love and how they're expanding within you, and your awareness of what we call Christed consciousness or this ascensionary energy that we're transcending through?
Mm, yes, Christ consciousness just feels so all enveloping when I bring it to heart. And when I'm leading, I feel that with me quite a bit. And this feeling of softness. I mean, for me, I came up kind of alpha and type A. Okay, you know that about me. And so overachiever, all the things, sobering up from chronic overdoing. So for me, when I do this practice and I feel that Christed consciousness coming in, there's just a melting into my feminine, even to feel the support and the love of source that is infinitely enveloping us in so many just loving blankets of just care and affection. And it just illuminates this way of seeing and feeling and being that feels like I'm in my higher self, like I'm actually able to navigate more from a higher consciousness instead of my reactive victim or smaller human. It's like I can actually relate more like a Christed being. Yeah. And it's
Mm.
like I'm lucky because I have Christ in my name. It just came with the package. So it helps me remember.
It's in alignment. You're reminding me, I was reading this book, and this Hindu high level Hindu priest was speaking about his near death experience, or he had written about his near death experience. And in it, as he's transcending and he's going through into different layers of his life, he goes through all of the moments where he was in his practices and in his mantras and in ritual. And he talks about how he navigated having the visions of all that while he was transitioning. And then he wound up in this amazing light and heat that was so powerful, but so gentle at the same time. And he couldn't believe his eyes because everything, all of his practices, everything didn't end somewhere. They were the culmination of what he was transitioning into next. And
Mm.
as a Hindu priest, the last thing that he expected was to be with Christ. And Christ is an energy, Christ is a love, Christ as this expansionary energy, crystalline consciousness that was permeating every cell of his being at an atomic level, was the way that he described it. And
Mm.
so there's this essence that is a magnetizing force, whether Christed consciousness or the figure is a role in your life, or no matter where you come from, that love that is portrayed through the essence of that beingness is alive in all of us. And it's so powerful, so
Yeah.
powerful. And I love that you brought in, Mother Mary coming through as a consciousness, because that was one of my first conscious experiences with ascended masters. And for me, it happened when I was 9 years old, when my grandfather had passed away. And she came in, and it was unmistakable of who it was and the effect she had on me as a 9 year old. That I knew her grace, her presence, the power of her beingness as a force of love and a magnetism for what we're heading towards. It's just been, it was life altering for me then, and it carries forward. And then I get to meet other people along my path that I get to have a broadcast and get to share space with, even a Christabel on today's call right before Easter. Um, so absolutely amazing. Um, y'all want to start preparing for our journey with Christabel. Before we do that, let's get a little bit into the special offer, because I want to invite all of y'all to join us on Sunday. It's at 12 p.m. Pacific time. The link for the special offer is in the chat box. You'll find it underneath the live video. If you're watching on replay, just right underneath the video, you'll see the special offer link. And you can always find our special offers at beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace. And as that's being pulled up, Christabel, why don't you share first what inspired you to want to create this special gathering this coming Sunday, Easter?
Hmm. Well, we were having a conversation, I think, and and we were talking about we both came up Roman Catholic, right? We both
Yeah.
had this sort of upbringing. And I know, and for me, it was never something that I fully felt at home in. And while it had certain ascended master figures that were very compelling, it wasn't my path. And yet we have this portal of Easter that's so rich with mythological significance and activated potential for us to resurrect the truth of who we are and to resurrect our relationship with our soul and our alignment with our path and our to resurrect our love if it has been buried or suppressed or hidden or dimmed in any way. I feel like there's something this weekend that is asking for recognition no matter what background we have,
Yeah.
and especially if there's anyone who came up the way we came up but maybe doesn't really fully relate to that path. The Christed consciousness is a universal template for us as awakening beings to truly open to the ability to live as love. Like, what is that in the full expression of what it is? And so that really inspired me to co-create with you and discover what would it feel like, to weave our energies together and share our personal practice together to inspire your community and our
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm really excited about it. For me, also, there's an awareness that this timeline that we're in during Easter, it's very much aligned with my shamanic path as well. And we're aware that there's access into a transcendence as we step forward into the light. But to be initiated into that light, we have to shed that which is of the darkness, which is of the density that can't really harmonically be in presence with what's on the other side. And so from the whole crucifixion into the resurrection, it's going from the shadow into the light. And there's beautiful ritual and practices and mantra and prayers that we get to hold as a stable field. You and I do it together when we're in prayer and in meditation together, and the access of the intelligence that comes through as we surrender to it, not because we have an intellectual understanding that really doesn't have any room in the space to open up those portals of potential. But when we bring that which we have held presence with and surrender to it becoming larger than what we have become, to allow the elegance and the grace for it to illuminate more light and to celebrate the glory of the light as we receive it in that current moment is something that I wanted to share with our community. It's something that I want to share because, again, in the communion in our practices, so much beauty and
Mm-hmm.
so much vision and so much gratitude and vitality has come through. And how wonderful to share it during this very powerful portal after all these planetary alignments, after the eclipses have drudged so much up and out, after we've had these moon portals taking us through different waves of purging, releasing, and emptying a lot of us out into, okay, now what else is possible? And I like to say, it's like I've stopped, I'm practicing trying to do God, and I'm practicing allowing God to do me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the transcendence that I feel is happening for really the collective. And as we surrender and have faith in that, there's so much that becomes available, and the peace and the clarity that streams through in our daily creations, which are really the impetus of our big creations. Um, we're just manifesting in a whole different way when we're in that space. And how wonderful. How wonderful. So, the link for the live Zoom call is again in the chat box. Is you can click on the special offer buttons either on the replay page or the live page. And again, the call is taking place this Sunday. What's the date this Sunday? April 20th, I think.
The 20th at 12 Pacific.
12 Pacific. It'll be a live Zoom call. We'll probably run about 90 minutes, maybe a little bit over, because you are going to experience an opening ceremony. We're going to get into a collective prayer, and Christabel is going to guide us through an amazing breath of bliss experience. And again, you put all those energies together and you bring in the consciousness of this psychoactive technology to ignite what's possible. And I just know it's going to be a powerful portal. So I hope you guys join us. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody who shows up. And again, we get to co-create this container together. So I look forward to seeing y'all there. Is there anything else that you want to say about our gathering on Sunday?
I'm just so excited because it's such an opportunity for us to gather at a natural, a point in time and space across the entire globe. We can come together virtually and we can breathe together. We can pray together. We can move. We can dance. We can just liberate the energy and make space for a new version of ourself that wants to be born, and let go of just the density and the distortions and the overlays and just all the untruths and illusions. And just there's a collective energy that happens when we gather together in community for this kind of beautiful ceremony. So I'm super excited for everyone.
It's amazing. As we're preparing again to go into the experience today, I want to answer Laura's question, and maybe I'll get you to add to it or share from your experience also. But I want to start. Laura's saying, I was raised Catholic and still have a lot of anger about the religion. It's hard for me to see the word Christ without bristling. If anyone has advice on how to get rid of that, I'm listening. Even Mary and Jesus, what the religion did to me and my family makes me so angry. And Laura, I so understand. Again, I grew up Roman Catholic. I grew up Latino Roman Catholic. So the symbol for our religion and our spirituality was sacrifice, the cross. My dad's cross was like something he wanted to pass down through the generations. And I can do that now because I have a different understanding of what that symbol means and the why. But when the dam broke open for me, when guides started to show up just out of nowhere, I was always extremely tuned in and psychic. And again, Mary came to me at a very young age, and I always felt her around me. But I had a lot of disdain for the organization as I grew up in it, just because it didn't feel right for me. So much separation. It wasn't healing what it promised to heal. It was making people wrong while making other people right. Y'all understand this. So during that point of awakening, everything that had to do with my religion had to be set aside. It wasn't part of my awakening experience. I went to Buddhism, spirituality. I was reading all kinds of books about other structures, but also how people were transmitting truth and love through their own knowingness, through their own connection. And it was probably a good 5 years into that pinnacle of that awakening experience that Christ started to show up for me. And I was like, who are you? I didn't invite you here. And that love just kept permeating and persistent, gracefully, without judgment, just as a presence. And my interpretation of Christ consciousness, the mastery, the teacher, the guru of Christ and the ascended masters, and what they hold for us to remember and embody and reawaken, became so clear and so powerful. But it showed up naturally. I didn't have to force it. I didn't have to make myself wrong. It was just something that I was ready to receive. And when I was ready to receive it, it came. And when it came, the floodgates came down also. and the streams of love, the awakening of consciousness, other connections that were ready to turn on within my consciousness and cosmic consciousness um, became so apparent of the doorways that I allowed to come in through my heart and my mind and my beingness that it shifted so much for me. Is there a way to interpret and make okay that which you don't find to be in honor or in integrity of what you were taught that was supposed to be? Um, you have to find it in your own heart. But remember, anywhere where we bring separation, we find ourselves in separation. Anything that we condemn ourselves in the process. We shut ourselves out based on somebody else's man made truth rather than a truth that lives inherently inside of you that you know, and nobody has to tell you if it's right or wrong because you know the answer to it. And that's what I would invite you into.
So beautiful.
Thank you. What would you add to that, Christabel? What would be your experience?
Oh, well, all girls Roman Catholic schools and summer camps until college. I had a lot to rebel against and push back against. So yeah, it's trying to get me to say God was like, it was a challenge back then. And I think as I, deepened my study of wisdom traditions and my own practices and my own journeying, I realized there is a unified field that is connecting all of life and all of everyone and everything. And there's a force that is separate than the institutions that have commercialized and marketed themselves, that and many like the Roman Catholic Church and the political interests. And I just started waking up to the layers of agenda that had infiltrated spirituality and commercialized it in different ways. And so for me, as I started realizing um and trusting the interconnectedness, that field of goodness, that universality of the love that every religion was actually speaking about. And then I just sort of realized, wow, the word God is efficient because it's just 3 letters and I can speak to the all that is really fast. And I
Mhm.
started using it again, that word, and the charge disappeared because I realized that I didn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like Jesus, the Christ, Yeshua was one of an entire legion of ascended masters who have supported and guided me my whole life. So we are one. They are. And as you say, John, like rebelling against, judging, ostracizing, criticizing anything is pushing, judging, ostracizing a part of ourselves. So how much can we love?
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Laura writes, letting go of the anger is the hardest part. I've done 4 steps and EDMR. Laura, then don't let it go. Be pissed off. Be angry. I
Yeah.
mean, really, it's like allow yourself to hold the truth of what you have and not make yourself wrong for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not wrong. You're finding the core of truth that made this anger arise. And so run with it, acknowledge it, and give it its due attention and presence. There's something there for you, and a greater wisdom will arise in you once we stop running away from those things that we don't want to feel.
And use a different word. Like just don't, if the word triggers, just think to yourself source or oneness or connection
Love.
or love, because the Christ to me is just a template of consciousness that provokes miracles, right?
Mm,
So maybe just open to the miraculous, the infinite possibilities of what's possible through the eyes of all that is, instead
mm.
of attaching to a word that triggers.
Well, on a vibrational frequency note, we have love as a word, and we have bliss that's right up there with it on the scale. And so, what do we need to do to prepare for our breath of bliss taste today?
I think the most important thing is setting an intention right now of what you want to experience. And so possibly for everyone watching, touching your heart and feeling deeply what it is you're yearning for, the experience, the feeling, the frequency, the breakthrough, the insight. And perhaps even allowing yourself to transform that into a decree. So the miracle already made. So like if you're longing for more love, I am love. Or
Mm.
if you are craving connection, I am connection. And maybe everyone can share that in the chat box and just share your
Yes.
I am decree, and we can have a medicine basket together.
Mm.
Yeah. Let's hear and see what the frame, you're programming your experience basically as a divine creator from the outset. I am love. I am love and joy. Yes, thank you. I'm accepted. I am love. There's a lot of love in the house.
Mm.
Yeah, so let it pour in. And once you crystallize the frequency, the feeling you want to self source with the breath, I just want to remind you before you lie down how we do this practice. It's an open mouth breathing practice. And when we breathe through the open mouth, in and out without a pause, that allows the drip of dimethyltryptamine to begin potentially microdosing from pineal pituitary. If you breathe only through your nose, that doesn't happen. Likewise, we do it lying down because that relaxes your mind. So we'll want to be, and I'm going to come to all these intentions in a moment, but we'll want to have an open mouth, connecting the inhale and exhale. And it sounds like this. I'm going to change my audio settings. Oh, I need to
I'm going to
wait.
mute.
Okay, you're gonna mute. Great. Okay, let me just switch those up so you can hear my breath. And while I'm doing that, you can all look at the chat box and behold this blessing way. So it sounds like this. And you'll see that I'm moving my hand in an infinity loop to inspire you to visualize this breath almost like a mother wave, like washing in from the ocean to the shore, and then washing out to the ocean, so it's organic and ripe and lush and feminine and sensual. It's an easy, ripe, open, surrendered breath. There's nothing to get right. There's nothing to achieve. There's no timed control going on the inhale or exhale. It's just a full expansion of the lungs on the inhale and a full surrender on the exhale. I'll turn off my sound setting for a moment, John, in case you want to add anything before we go.
I do. First, I want to answer Saiba is saying, do you have to lie down or can you sit reclined?
I love that, Saibat. So yeah, if your health requires you to sit or just simply recline, certainly you can adapt it. If you want the deepest psychoactive experience, lying down relaxes the prefrontal cortex, which is the reasoning center. And of course, our mind loves to hijack and have a commentary and analyze. So if you lie down and you cover your eyes, there's a greater probability you'll relax into your subconscious and start, because when we breathe in this way, we can actually tap into the more unconscious material in the amygdala and just start building this communication between the insula, which is the emotional processing center, and then we can start reimagining the meaning of things in our lives and reauthoring our life, creating a new story about things that may have been too much to feel in the past as well. So lying down allows that to happen more easily, but if you need to adapt it, please adapt it.
Beautiful. And as we're moving forward, y'all, I want to remind you and invite you to, as best you can, and make sure that you're comfortable. You'll be guided when the journey is ending. So you don't have to try to leave it early because your mind thinks it should be done by now. But again, listen to what's coming up for you physically and honor what's coming up for you. And I love that Deb was already feeling it in the practice breathing. Deb's like, wow, already I'm feeling it. I get into it pretty quickly also. And again, no judgment. Just I hope that y'all relax, just enjoy taking this you time Like really know and trust that everybody and everything is taken care of during this time.
Mm.
That all the souls that love you are saying, hey, we're giving you this special time so that you can connect with yourself and your own divinity. And so that whatever intelligence that is ready to communicate through you has the space to without you thinking that you have to be in so many different places at the same time. So again, I invite you to rest and relax into the portal, knowing that everything and everybody is taken care of during these next 20, 25 minutes so that you can receive the maximum benefit of today's gift. And with that, Christabel, I'm going to turn this over to you and turn my microphone off.
Okay. Thank you, John. Again, it's amazing to be here with you and your community. Everybody, as we're making a transition to lying down, I'd love to presence your beautiful shares. I am accepted. I am love. I am enough. I am invincible. I am ready. I see the truth. I am love and joy, love and light to all. I am beauty. Yes, I am that I am. I am magical love. So just let yourself be washed over with these high frequency programs, these invitations to breathe into the highest possible outcome for yourself. Feeling and knowing that everything you could want, hope for, desire is right underneath the next breath. So as you lie down and you close your eyes and perhaps cover them with a fabric, beginning to take these deep, open mouth, circular, connected breaths, feeling the support of whatever is underneath you. Feeling the eyes softening behind closed lids. Connecting the inhale to the exhale. Feeling the safety in the space. And we call in all of your angels and teachers and guides. All the highest legions of light. We invite in the most ascended teachers of love, compassion, harmony, unity, forgiveness, mercy, and understanding. Breathe deep to make space to receive. To receive more feeling in your body. To receive more love. That's it. Letting the inhale flow into the exhale. Like a wave of light. Fill yourself up with this life force energy. The truth of who you are as love. We call in all our forgotten parts today, all the abandoned and judged aspects of who we've been. We open our hearts with love to welcome in anything we have judged or rejected. Show us how to love more. Show me. Show me. Connecting the inhale to the exhale. Flowing your attention into your body, over your lips, past your tongue and down your throat, through all of your cells in the wonderland of your organs. And exhaling out anything that no longer serves. In a great and mighty purification today, we cleanse and clear with the breath all that is untrue. Oh, how good it is to be alive. That's it. You're doing so beautifully. Open your mouth even more. Drink in the soma in the air, the elixir of the gods. Let it wash over you. Let it sweep you clear. And exhale, exhale, let it go, and let it go. Anything you're ready to let go of. You can move your arms, you can make a sound. That's it. We breathe to open to a miracle today. Show me. Open your mouth more. Let the breath caress the inside, warming what's been asleep or forgotten, unlearning what you're ready to release. And letting it go on the exhale. Open your body, open your heart, open your mind to God. And we open ourselves even wider now to something so much bigger than we've ever been. Opening wider on the inhale, opening wider on the exhale. Move your body, move your hands, move your arms, move your legs, move your head, move what's been waiting to move. Whatever you've been holding on to, attached to, let it go. So safe. Because you're so much more than you know. That's it. Move, 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 move. Surrender into your innocence. In the innocence of all life. If you desire a bigger experience, you can breathe deeper now, faster, fuller, bigger breaths. Expanding the membranes of energy within and around your body wider. That's it. Touching space, touching time, slipping between the streams with breath. Opening to a bigger possibility. That's it. Stretch the breath. Stretch your senses wider. Tasting a new possibility. That's it. Breathe between the slipstreams, the timelines, multi-dimensional memories. That's it. Moving the spine, pulsing the energy, opening, freeing, liberating what's ready to move. Bialaka. Yes, what's possible when you lighten up your breath? Shake your shoulders, shake your hips, pulsate, open, unlock, release, liberate, discover something new underneath the next breath. That's it. Make a big sound now. Breathing into the space that's available when you let it all go. That's it. La 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 la. Calling in the more luminous dancing lights of energy, the frequencies that lift you higher. How much can you enjoy being alive? Letting every breath become a celebration. Open your mouth, deeper breaths, connecting the inhale to the exhale to all of life. Woo! That's it. Expand. Who are you without all these stories, these assumptions, these judgments, these roles that you play, this identity? Who are you beyond all of the categories you put yourself in? Beyond all of your preferences, beyond what you love and what you push away. Breathe into the totality. Beyond everything that is here in this moment, there is a larger version of you. Breathe to know what it feels like that is never an absence. I am the presence that is never an absence. I am the presence that is never an absence. Further, wider breaths. I am the kingdom of heaven in my own heart. Oh, yeah. I am love. Just beyond the edges of who you've known yourself to be. Just beyond. Just beyond the tension and the thinking. Breathe there. Breathe into the tenderness at the heart of who you are. That Christed consciousness in your heart. The love that aches to be shared. Breathe there. Into the softness, the innocence, just underneath the tears, the part of you that yearns to be seen and held and to hold all of life. Breathe into the love that is everywhere around you. In every molecule of air. Breathe it into your body now. Flood yourself with this vibrating love. Trembling. It's so safe to feel more. Stay in the breath. Stay in the possibility of softening. You might even call in your little one, your younger self, to be here with you, breathing with you. Perhaps a smile as you breathe, just feeling the safety that's always been here to love. Breathe in to receive this love. It's always been here for you. Just waiting for your trust. your softness. So breathe now to soften your whole body, to be held by something so much bigger. The whole universe, loving you with every breath. Can you feel it? Breathe even deeper now to welcome it in, to flood yourself over with how good it feels to receive. Ah, it's so good to love. You were born for this. You were born to love. Just closing your mouth now as you dissolve into now. And receive a transmission. Allowing an insight to penetrate your heart as you slowly start orienting to the present moment. Slowly coming back to this space with John and I, feeling us here with you. Feeling us breathing with you. And if you haven't yet slowly started opening your eyes, doing that now. And perhaps stretching your body, coming back to this now moment with us here today on the Beyond the Ordinary show. If you're willing to slowly begin orienting back with us, you might want to stretch and have a sip of your beverage, write something in your journal. And no, we normally integrate much more, and you can after our time. But for now, coming back to be with us in this space.
And be gentle. There's no rush. We'll be speaking, integrating a little bit together, holding the space of the high vibrational energy. That was the intention of this call and our intention of our call on Sunday as well, our gathering and our communing together.
Mm.
Allow our voices and our presence, all of us, here live on the replay in consciousness to direct us back to the center of that home, that crystalline light that is guiding you on the pathway to your remembering, your love, the activation of your cells becoming vital in awareness of the truth of their divinity. Welcome back, y'all. And I want to invite y'all. I'd love to hear your experiences, read about them if you want to share them on the chat. Post them in the chat box. If you want to raise your hand, we can call on a few people to share experience and answer questions and everything that came up. I know that in sharing mine, a lot of times I'll come out of the experience and what comes through just by giving it that extra voice. Or the amazing, like Shirley just wrote in, it amplifies
Yes.
the holding of the memory so that we carry it forward even more consciously in awareness and with velocity in which it's streaming through right now. So it's so beautiful. Christabel, what's your experience when you're guiding a journey like this?
Oh my goodness. There's so much I could say.
Share a
But
little bit at least. Yeah.
just for the moment, I feel still to give a little presence to everyone coming back. And I'd love to really invite you all to feel deeply and to at least choose a word of remembrance, a single nodal word or phrase, because when we journey together like this as a collective, it's like all sharing a dream. And when you share with the group an insight or a revelation or a vision, it can trigger a remembrance in other people in a way that creates a domino effect of expansion. So, as John invited you, please do allow yourself to share in the chat box and put up your hand digitally, and we'll call on you in a moment. And when I am sharing, John, in this way, that was your question, right? What is my experience when I'm guiding this?
Yes.
My experience is sort of dissolving myself into breath and sensation and a feeling of communion with everything. And I feel the hearts of everyone in the space. I let my imagination carry me out to connect. But then I also feel these lines of light connecting me to the angels and the guides and the masters. And it's a
Mm.
it's like a rhythmic prayer. It's like just a feeling, sensing and knowing things in the space that want to be invited and just surrendering into that. Yeah.
And I really appreciate the way that you guide and surrender. You're really, it's like you've activated this relationship with this cosmic energy within you. And there's such a confidence in that and such a knowing of it that you get into a place where you automatically just let go and surrender to your faith and trust in it to guide other people on their journey. So I feel your container being so clear,
Mm.
your container being so clean of judgment and really opening with so much compassion and also activation into high potential that's ready to be activated within everybody who happens to be in the experience.
Mhm.
Um, so I really appreciate and value witnessing that, um, because it's a powerful transmission for the type of container that I look for all of us to be held in. So thank you for guiding in that way. Um, y'all, again, feel free to raise your hand if you want to share your experience, but I want to share part of what was coming through. Christabel, maybe you want to read a couple that that are resonating for you as they're streaming in.
Yeah, I would be honored to give voice to some of this beautiful sharing. I'm hearing from Cindy. Thank you so much. This was such a beautiful and magical process. And Laura, as always, that was amazing. Thank you so much. Halfway through, I asked Jesus and Mary why I should talk to them. And I asked a few times, and then I started sobbing uncontrollably.
Wow, I got the chills.
My heart's cracking wide open. I kept
Wow.
saying, why should I trust you? You let them hurt me. I have no idea what that meant. And so she started asking questions and she started getting answers and she just started a dialogue. I just feel like this is
Wow.
exactly why this work takes place is to open our channels. So Laura, that is so, so beautiful. I'm so happy for you. Wow.
We have
Yeah.
Deb who wrote in. Deb's writing, I'm still integrating the most incredible experience, encapsulating everything I've glimpsed, but perhaps not felt. So held or guided as with you and John to truly allow. My solar plexus entire torso got heavier than I've known weight, like a universal black hole, literal image that occurred. But it wasn't painful, it expanded with breath. Thank you so much for this incredible activation. Ah, Deb, that's what a beautiful share. My God.
And everybody notice how it feels when we read these shares, how you feel. I mean, are you catching the vibrational updraft from
Mm.
everyone else? It's amazing. That's the beauty of coming together like this. And look at there's more coming here. So beautiful, powerful, yet relaxing and opening, transcending. Some interesting things happened. Beautiful, Dragana. Lots of shares here.
Saiba and David, we'll get to you in a second. I'm going to ask you to mute. I'm going to read Saiba's first. Uh, Saiba, as I started deeper, I started wheezing and coughing. I'm still recovering from COVID I had 2 weeks ago, but I felt my lung expanding more. We'll definitely do a replay. And maybe you can join us on Sunday also, Saiba. And again, we'll get into that space. Again, that no space, if you will, the pure presence. And that's something that Christabel and I hold very powerfully together individually, but together. That is one of our codes and keys as individuals. But when we amplify the third that comes through in presence, I get into other relational aspects with transmitting divinity through me and into my body that's just absolutely profound. So we'll put the link up for the special offer. Chris, go ahead, or April, put it in the chat box. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But David, I'd love for you to unmute your microphone, and if you can share, that'd be wonderful.
Okay, you can't see me because I'm in the dark, so I might as well just let me be one of my vibrations there.
Please, yeah.
Oh, I can't even glimpse who I truly am until I let go of everything that I think I am. Every current life, every past life, every planet, every place I've ever been. All that's got to go. And that's what the out breaths were all about. And when it's done, there's nothing. There's nothing and everything at the same time. It's just, it's just,
David. Oh, I love it. That's the everything. That's what we're it's all and nothing all at once.
Mm.
Ah,
And what's being facilitated in this communion, this gathering, also, again, it's a vibrational coherence. And so the breathing brings us, and the transmission, it's not even the breathing. Yes, the breathing. but it's the transmission of the activation of you in presence to you and in a group container that holds the standard for the accumulated energy that is transcending into experiencing itself as more light, as more love, as more clarity, as more presence. And
As a
so,
soul.
as a soul, and Christabel, you always say this isn't about the breathing, that it's about something else. And can you share a
Yes.
little bit more about that?
This has nothing to do with this modality that people call breath work. I feel like the breathing practice we do is simply to open our capacity to perceive the interconnectedness of all of life as spiritual practitioners, as high frequency channels, to dissolve and collapse all the perceptive frameworks that we've become addicted to in our society, and to just blast through to a perception of what I call God consciousness, where there is just infinite beauty and infinite love and infinite unity everywhere across all of space of time and in everything and everyone. And so, David, when I heard you speaking, I just felt my heart dancing and singing
Yeah.
because it sounds like you went there.
Me too. Something that I'd love for you to clarify for me, because you use this term quite a bit, and it carries different interpretations for me in different circumstances.
Mm.
But you keep using the phrase spiritual practitioner. What does that mean to you?
Okay. So when I use that phrase, I use that phrase because in my facilitator training program, I train spiritual practitioners. And by choosing to empower somatic oracles to lead breath of bliss ceremonies, and by calling them spiritual practitioners, it's really inviting those who want to become initiated to move more consciously towards a level of devotion as mystics and as those in service to the global awakening, to see the facilitation of their events as um, a living expression of their personal practice. So that like, so when I say spiritual practitioners, it's like this is our life. Like probably everyone on this call is in some way a spiritual practitioner who
Yeah,
does meditation and visualizations, and you're here now. So it's the practice is our life. The communion is our life.
beautiful. I love the way that you're expressing that. And again, I wanted to ground it in because it can be so activating to claim that for ourselves as well. To their awareness, like, oh wait, hold on a second. I am a spiritual practitioner. And what does that mean for me? And where is this guiding me? And how am I having a relationship with this energy that's running through me? So it's so wonderful. I want to get into some more of the Q&A. Laura, I'll get to you in a second. Hang tight. Um, well, I want to read Joan's experience first. So Joan's saying, I've never had any kind of an experience like this, exclamation, exclamation. Between the music and Christabel's words and direction, I found my emotions moving exactly where they needed to. Between reliving and releasing all that needs to go and then enjoying bliss and peace that replaced it. She does call it breath of bliss, like something I've never experienced previously. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Joan, thank you. And Dragana, for me, effect is still strong. Visions are not stopping. Y'all, there's this and more as we go into ceremony and into sharing our shared practices together. This coming Easter, the resurrection, the ascension, activating it in community, holding a high vibrational state together, all of us, and going through a shared experience and a breath of bliss experience will be part of that as well. And it'll be longer than it was today. Say you got a version of it. So we're going to go more into a deeper dive of it. So you're going to have a more profound version of what's possible on our call this Sunday. It's $33, y'all. We've never offered anything that low before on Beyond the Ordinary show, but we wanted to create this gathering for us because, again, we're transcending something quite large right now. And again, to gather and to share in this way just felt right. And the timing was perfect. And we just decided to do this a few days ago. So this is like last minute. It's calling. It wasn't a big master plan. It just feels right. So when y'all join, you'll get the Zoom link. You'll see us on Sunday. We'll run the replays afterwards. You can download them. Well, I'm not sure if you can download them or not. We'll get into that technology afterwards, but you'll definitely have replays. Um, but I hope y'all join us. And before I read some more of the chats and we get to Laura, Christabel, I'd love for you to share what's coming from your heart again through our gathering that's coming this Sunday.
Mm-mm. Well, I just am so moved by the mythic depths of this portal day of Easter, regardless of whatever background any of us have. I have a master's degree in mythological studies, so I'm a geek around this thing, everybody. And so just the archetypal opportunity we all have to literally metaphorically roll away the stone in front of the
Mhm.
cave to move the density and the distortions and the heaviness of the ego and anything we've been carrying, to roll aside any stories, any limitations, any illusions, and to literally lighten up, and to come out of the chronic addiction to seriousness and just to bring levity, as we levitate, as we ascend. And the gene keys, it's just like touching into ecstasy becomes possible for us when we rise above the mind. And so I would invite everyone coming to take some time to reflect beforehand and really contemplate, what are you dedicating this to transmuting? Is there something you're really ready to offer up on the altar to source? And are you wanting to open to a new revelation of some kind? So you can really use the vibrational updraft of our gathering with purpose.
I love that. What you're bringing into my consciousness also is that as we're bringing those things to the altar, you're not rolling that huge stone by yourself. We're doing it in a high vibrational state that we're holding in community. And that took me into how some believe that the pyramids were built by levitating the stones through consciousness and placing them. How can something so heavy be so moved and create such a beautiful portal for energy that is an anchor point in this world into the heavens? And how are you expanding the nodal point that you are? And you're grounding in your light, your love, and your transmission for others to benefit from the gift of the ignition of your cells and memory, guiding them back home as you're going back home. How beautiful is that? So thank you for igniting that remembrance. Y'all, I hope you join us on Sunday. The link's in the chat box. The link's also underneath on the special offer button on the live page and on the replay page. And again, always you can access the special offers by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace. Laura, can we get you to unmute your microphone now?
Christabel, thank you so much. Both of you, thank you so much. I mean, everything that you said before the transmission and then the transmission itself. I mean, I've been to two of them now with you here with John, and so I knew what to expect. And I said I'm just open to whatever, and just how that came through, and the deep sobbing that was, just so deep. I was a child again, and whatever happened to me, it's healing now. I can feel it healing now, and that's something I'm trying to work on in therapy and everything else. So thank you, because that was a huge breakthrough for me tonight. And I just wanted to come on and see you both and say thank you to both of you. So grateful for you, and thank you for making it affordable, John, because I don't have a lot of money, but I can do $33, so I will be there on Sunday.
Amazing. We look forward to seeing you. And thank you for saying yes and for sharing your heart with all of us.
Yeah.
And and I have to share, Laura, with all due respect, with where you are, I already see you not as healing, but as healed. I hold the vibrational awareness that you're just remembering that you are healed. And from my heart to yours, may you receive that as true.
Mm.
I'm going to believe that is true. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
And so it is.
And so it is. Christabel, as we close tonight's gathering, is there anything that you'd love to share with our community as we end also season 35 of Beyond the Ordinary? What a great way to end.
Wow. Well, first, I feel like I want to read Helen's share in the chat
Please,
box.
yeah, I'll read as much as you want.
Helen says, for the first time in 5 years, I felt held and the
Wow.
aloneness melted away. That's a long
Oh,
time,
Helen.
5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, my goodness, Helen, I'm so moved by this share. And Deb wrote, seriously, have so much moving around. I feel like a child with a goofy expression, but in absolute bliss. That sounds very tickled and lighthearted. And so, yeah, it's like the depths. I love that these two shares are just so different, but they speak to the totality that this work brings us each the medicine we need, wherever we are on the path and whatever we're holding in our hearts and praying for. It is a path that empowers you as your own guide, as your own teacher, and your body as the portal to the presence that has always been within you, that has all the answers and that can bring everything into spontaneous right relationship, miraculous sacred order in yourself, in your life, in your consciousness. And it is, it is a very beautiful thing indeed when we gather on these magical portal days, especially one devoted to ascension of consciousness. So yeah, I would just say I can't wait to be with you all this Sunday and with John. This is really amazing that we're creating this together too. We've never done this. So come be with us.
And I want to close out with a code that Kara's leaving us with. So this is one, Kara, thank you. You know that feeling you have when you go on vacation and you relax? You let go and feel freedom to be in that place, leaving everything behind and being fully present there where you are, even getting a t-shirt or clothes to transform and be even more present there. That is what that felt like. Freedom. Freedom. So Kara, thank you for bringing in the codes of freedom today, and y'all.
Oh my goodness.
Freedom to be you, freedom to know you, freedom to express your love, freedom to express your clarity, freedom to know who you be in truth, and the freedom that that engenders in self-love and the transmission that you are for love for everybody else in that remembrance. So blessings to you. Blessings to everybody in the sharing. Blessing to everybody in the replays. Blessings to everybody who joined us in ceremony. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And I look forward to seeing y'all next season on Beyond the Ordinary. Love y'all. Namaste.
Much love. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, John.